So, G Home Smart sent me this doorknob. They wanted to get my opinion on it. I have not actually opened it yet. So, we're going to open it up and see what this is all about. It's a fingerprint doorknob, has a backup code, and I believe it has a backup key too. So, let's take a look here. Nice little packaging. Oh, it's got a template for getting it installed. I don't really need that. I'm guessing this is to either reset it or swap out the battery or something. Let's see. Yeah, so it's to reset it. And here is the doorknob. Okay, it's got a little rubber seal here. There is a USB-C port for charging on the bottom, as well as a keyway. And let's see, here's the keys. That's a funky looking key. Okay, so I am gonna have to take this apart to get it turned on. Good news though, this does have a dead latch. Now, I've had so many conversations about these. People see me opening a doorknob and they're like, why not use a credit card? Well, this is why. Because if the door is properly installed, this is retracted by the strike plate. It should be something like that. This strike plate pushes that little latch down. A lot of people end up having their stuff installed like this, so that latch isn't pushed down. That latch needs to be pushed down to prevent that. See that? That's why people who have their doorknob locked end up calling me saying they can't get in. They've tried a credit card, but it doesn't work. Oh. Okay. That's on me for not reading the instructions, but it is still definitely too thick for this screwdriver, so let me get one. So I looked for a good like 5 minutes, so not actually that long, and I don't actually have a screwdriver that is thin enough to get in here. I'm stuck doing this. So G Home, it would be nice if you'd include like a screwdriver that actually fits in here, because this is actually the size of the screw. It is a very narrow path. We're making progress. Alright, so it is a week later. I had a little bit of an interruption, and a lot of things happened, but this has been sitting here. The key still works, so let's see what it takes to pick this open. So we're gonna use this 32 thousandths pick. Ooh, let's wait for that to stabilize. I have the camera mounted on a 3D printed mount, and I actually need to do some adjustments to that. This 32 thousandths tensioner from the Reaper set, and this Nessie pick from the Apex set. Which is both a rake and single pin pick combo, so you don't have to actually switch tools, you can just flip it around. And we'll see what it takes to open this. I am doing this at a very awkward angle, so. And I apologize to anybody if they're like, oh, well, your voice sounds different. I don't have my customer service voice on anymore, so. So, it is given a little fight back, but part of that's from the angle. There it is. So, maybe 30 seconds to learn the lock and get it figured out on what tension you need to use. But one good thing about this is that the keyhole is at the bottom So when this is actually installed on a door, if somebody looks at it, they might not even realize that there's a keyhole on it at all. A lot of pickers probably will look for it, but anybody inexperienced probably will just move on. And got that raked open 3 times, so let's see what it takes to single pin pick this. If I can get that tool out of the way. Actually, I'm not going to use the Nessie to single pin pick it. I am going to use... So I don't remember what this pick profile is called, but it actually works wonders in more narrow and restricted keyways and in smaller locks. So I tend to really like it because that is something that I do struggle with. Doing mostly residential and commercial locks, I don't really have too many complex locks at home, and there we have it. We'll do that one more time because in my profession you're usually picking the same type of lock over and over. I would like to get some better locks at some point and practice with those, but what I have noticed is when I practice with higher security locks or even medium security locks like the 1100 or anything, I get so used to picking those, and then I get out to a call and I start to struggle to pick a low security lock again. I had to adjust my tension there. I'm not very good at talking and picking at the same time, so... There we go. And I am actually going to put this on a door because, well, I already said that I wanted to use it. And let me see if I can find the hardware. And I also want to demonstrate how this dead latch will work if I can get it installed properly on my door. So we will see, because my door in my house is very old. My door's been busted up a couple of times. So we'll see how that goes. I'll see you there. So I wanted to show this, but I wasn't filming. I opened up the Smart Life app on my phone, which I use for all of my devices basically, and it popped up immediately, let me add it. I didn't have to go through and search for it or anything, so I just want to point that out. That is absolutely awesome that it just integrated and it gave the update right there. Swipe to unlock. Alright, awesome. So if I forget to lock it whenever I leave out and want to make sure that my kids don't come in here when they're not supposed to, because that is something they definitely do, I don't even have to get up. I can be in bed and just lock that. So that's pretty awesome. Just wanted to show that. So here's the thing. On my door, it's very easy to use something like this from Covert Instruments, the credit card latch tool, and do that. See, I didn't turn the handle. I have to pull on it to get it to open. But that's because you can see my door is a little messed up. I mean, I can't even really close it without really forcing it. I have to kind of turn it a little bit. But I'm not concerned with that, because even with that being the case, it's a little difficult to get something in there and shim it open. See, you can't do it very quickly. And you can tell this door's been shimmed open sometimes before. like my stickers. But that's because if you listen, I don't know how well you'll be able to hear it. That dead latch, this part right here, is falling in and not staying out because of how jacked up the door frame is, which I'll get to it one day. I made that in high school, just ignore that stuff. So, unfortunately my camera died, but I want to get this video out, so here's some footage of an upcoming video while I voice over the end of this one. Apologies for the editing and jumpiness. Hopefully I'll get better at doing long-form planned videos and editing. I haven't done anything besides short-form content, and that's all unplanned. And it's mainly just me doing my job than editing, so this is a lot different. But if you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you so much. Thanks to G Home Smart for sending me this sample. I'll be putting a link down in the description to it. It's $50 or $49.99, which I think is pretty fair. It's a decent lock and a big quality of life upgrade. The few problems I did have were trying to get it screwed in because I didn't have a thin enough screwdriver, and there's only 0 through 6 on the number pad, plus you have to use a 6 to 8 digit combo, which I never do. And I like to use numbers that aren't available on the keypad, so they're easier for me to remember. But other than that, the lock is great. It's better than the competitors I've seen at this price point. It's pretty good feeling, good quality, so if you want to go grab it, like I said, the link is down in the description. I'm also going to be trying to edit a short form video of this, so we'll see how that goes. I want to start doing more long form content, so let me know what you guys want and what I can improve on, give me some tips. And hopefully I can get into that as well as some live streaming. I might be joining Lady Locks on a few lives, so look out for that as well. Check out all my socials, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.